Now let's review the 5 Shu points on the lung channel. Number 1, which acupuncture point is located 0.1 tune proximal and lateral to the corner of the thumbnail on the radial side of the thumb?
Number 1, lung 11, Xiao
What
Xia.
is, what is the elemental classification of lung 11?
Number 2, wood fluence.
Which of the following is not an indication for lung 11?
Number 3, hemoptysis.
Hemoptysis. Lung 11 is one of the 13 ghost points of which historical figure?
Number 1, Sun
Sun
Simeo.
Simeon. The relationship between which two elements is essential for maintaining the correct relationship between heaven and earth?
Number 1, wood and metals.
Which point is described as the very great abyss and is also known as the corpse reviver?
Number 3, lung 9.
What is the primary function of lung 9?
Number 2, tonifies lung chi and stop heart.
Which point is identified as a fire point and a Ying-Spring point in the lung channel?
Lung 10, number 4.
Lung 10 can be used to treat which of the following emotional conditions?
Number 1, depression, desperation, isolation.
Which point
Isolation.
is the healthy point of the lung channel?
Number 1, lung 5.
Which of the following statements about lung 8 is false?
Number 2, it used primarily for skin and dryness in winter.
Lung 9 is a source point for which organ's qi?
Number 3, lungs.
Which point's needle depth is specified as 0.5 to 0.8 tune?
Number 1, lung 5.
The meridian gutter or lung 8 is most effective when needled during which horary time?
Number 1, 0300, 0500.
Which point is described as a ghost hall point?
Number 1, lung 5.
Which element is associated with the cubital march point?
Number 3, water.
Which of the following is an indication for lung 5?
Number 2, infantile convolution.
Lung 10 is
Also,
especially useful when the skin exhibits which of the following qualities?
number 1, cold, slippery, flaky.
Which point is specifically noted for its ability to revive a weak pulse, earning the nickname Corpse Reviver?
Number 3, lung 9.
Which point is identified as the Ying-Spring point of the lung channel?
Number 4, lung 10.
Which point is associated with the musical note shang, the fifth sound of the Chinese scale?
Number 4, lung 11.
Which point's function includes regulating the fluid passageway?
Lung 5, number 1.
Which point is used to treat pain in the fingers?
Number 4, lung 11.
What is the Chinese name for the fish border point?
You, you,
Which point is described as being located on the transverse wrist crease, radial side of the radial artery?
lung 9, number 3.
Which point is the first aid point for radiation poisoning?
Number 3, lung 9.
Which point is designated as a healthy point and also a sedation point.
Number 1, lung 5.
Which point is associated with the Jing-Well classification?
Lung 11, number 4.
The lung's receiver of qi is linked to which celestial element?
Number 1, heaven.
Which point is indicated for hemoptysis, loss of voice, sore throat, dry throat, and asthma?
Number 4, lung 10.
Which point's moxibustion contraindication is specifically noted due to proximity to the radial artery?
Lung 9, number 3.
Which point is a water point that also opens the water passages?
Lung 5, number 1.
Which point is described as a Jing-River point where qi moves and does not dwell according to the Suen citation?
Number 2, lung 5. Lung 8.
Okay. Which point is the bronchial
Lung
point?
8, number 2.
Yes. Which point is the bronchial point used to treat asthma and agitated
Uh,
skin through wood activation?
Number 4, lung 11.
Which point is recommended for spasmodic pain of the elbow and arm?
Number 4,
What's the answer?
lung 11.
Which point is classified as a ghost point and also a wood point?
Lung 11.
Which point is especially useful when the patient exhibits silk-like sheen of the skin?
Lung 11.
Which point is described as a Shu-Stream point that imitates water pouring down deeper along the meridian?
Lung 9.
Which point's primary indication includes pulseless disease or Takayasu's arteritis?
Lung 8.
Lung 8? Okay.
Oh,
Dreams of metal objects in water are an indication for which point?
lung 5.
Which point is described as the antique winter point?
Lung 11.
Which point is used to treat upper jiao pain, fever, and chills?
Lung 8.
Which point is identified as a Horary point, specifically during autumn?
Lung 8.
Which point is the source point for the lung meridian, also called Great Abyss?
Lung 9.
Which point is described as activating the wood aspect within the metal?
Lung 11.
Which point's nomenclature includes the term Shaoshang?
Lung 11.
Lung 8 is a metal point used to clear which type of bodily debris?
Toxins on the skin.
Which point is indicated for cold hands and weak voice when combined with Ren 17?
Lung 9.
Which point is used to expel heat from the lung and is also a ghost point?
Lung 11.
Which point is described as the meeting place of all the blood vessels in the Nanjing?
Lung 9.
Which point is specifically noted for its sedation property?
Lung 5.
The fish region, lung 10, is described as mixing which two elements?
Fire and metal.
Which point is best used when the skin is hot, ugly, and red?
Lung 10.
Which point is said to open the orifices and restore consciousness as a distal point?
Lung 11.
The Hun is linked to which physiological process?
Automatic rhythmic process of life.
Which point's moxibustion recommendation includes 7 moxacones?
Lung 5.
Which point is classified as a Jing-Well antique winter point?
Lung 11.
Which point is described as a command point with a powerful effect when the lung is cold?
Lung 10.
Which point is indicated for headache, toothache, pain in the wrist?
Lung 8.
Which point is located in the depression between the styloid process of the radius and the radial artery?
Lung 8.
Which point is associated with the wood aspect of metal and is a Jing-Well point?
Lung 11.
Which point's function includes regulating qi in the chest?
Lung 8.
Which point is the source point and thus activating yan qi?
Lung 9.
Which point is described as the most superficial and narrow among lung points?
Lung 11.
Which point functions to descend rebellious qi?
Lung 10.
Which point is said to be the fifth sound of the Chinese musical scale?
Lung 11.
Lung 9 can be combined with which other point for particularly qi deficient patients?
Ren 17.
Which point is described as a Husi point that also functions as a sedation point?
Lung 5.
Which point is indicated for spasmodic pain of the elbow and arm when the arm cannot be raised?
Lung 5.
Which point is specifically noted for clearing lung heat in its capacity as a Ying-Spring point?
Lung 10.
Which point is a Jing-River antique late summer point?
Lung 8.
Which point is classified as an earth point?
Lung 9.
The Liu Shang point is described as having which musical note association?
Shang.
Which point is described as the most powerful of command points within the lung
Lung 10.
channel?
Lung 10.
Which point's function includes tonifies and invigorates the spleen?
Lung 9.
Which point is used to expel pathogenic heat early in treatment?
Lung 11.
Which point is described as a ghost hole point that is also a water point?
Lung 5.
Lung 9 is an influential point for blood vessels. Which ancient text quotes its significance?
Nanjing.
Which point is located on the transverse cubital crease, radial side of the biceps brachii tendon?
Lung 5.
Lung 8 is a horary point during which season?
Autumn.
Which point is referred to as the antique spring point?
Lung 10. Ito ba?
Point can be used to
Spring point.
treat
Lung 10.
which point can be used to treat radiation poisoning as a first aid measure?
Lung 9. Lung 9.
Which point is indicated for infantile convulsions?
Lung 5.
Which point's indication includes vomiting and diarrhea?
Is a lung 5.
Which point is described as the
Lung 5, the
juncture?
answer.
Yeah. Which point is described as the juncture where the lung returns us to the interior in the philosophical discussion?
Lung 11.
Which point is associated with the fifth sound of the Chinese musical scale and the metal element?
Lung 11.
Which point is specifically noted for clearing upper respiratory disharmonies due to its Jing-River quality?
Lung 8.
Which point is a healthy point that also functions to regulate the fluid passageway?
Lung 5.
Which point is indicated for pain in the wrist and pulseless disease or Takayasus arteritis?
Lung 8.
A water point that can be used when the patient has dry cough, bronchitis with much mucus?
Lung 5.
Which point is a Jing-Well point that can be needled subcutaneously to a depth of 0.1 to 0.2 tsun?
Lung 11.
Which point's function includes activates the channels, relaxes the sinews, and alleviates pain?
Isa lung 5.
In the philosophical section, which element is said to bring decisiveness and the capacity to stop, to balance the lung?
Is a wood.
Which point can expel 5 to 13 drops of blood when pricked with a three-edged needle?
Lung 11.
Which point is described as being used for acute sore throat or fever from wind heat, bleed? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. What's your
Lung
answer?
11.
Lung 11.
Lung 11.
Lung 9 is a Shu-Stream point. What does this imply about its chi movement?
Chi force down deeper, whether stronger.
Which point is described as a pharyngeal meridian point in the context of the lung channel?
Is a lung 10.
Which point is most appropriate for cold, silvery, flaky skin when tonifying?
The same lung 10.
Which point is described as a Jing-Well antique winter point that expels heat from the lung?
Lung 11.
The recipient of qi is the lung. Which point directly influences this concept by opening the orifices?
Lung 11.
Which point is specifically associated with the
The
fifth?
same answer. Lung 11.
Okay. Which point is specifically associated with the fifth sound of the Chinese musical scale and is a metal point?
The same lung 11.
Lung 11. Hmm.
The answer is lung 11.
Are you sure? Which point is lung 11 ba?
Which points especially? Lung 11 lung 11 or lung 9?
It should be lung 9.
Ikaw, sabi ko, murag lang 9. Murag lang 9.
Metal point.
11 may nakabutang. Oh, okay. Which points
Okay.
especially associated?
Which point is a
Murag lang 9.
lung 9? Which point
Oh,
is
lang 9.
a spring point that can assist with rebellious chi?
Oh, lang 9. How is
Ying-Spring.
a change is number 102 is lang 10.
Okay. Which point is said to calm the Shen by clearing pathogenic heat?
Lang 11.
Which point is noted for its antique summer classification?
Lang 8.
Which point's function includes, regulates, and tonifies the lung qi?
Lang 8
Dreams of metal objects in water is an indication for which point?
is a lang 5.
Okay. Which point is described as the most powerful of command points due to its fire metal alchemy?
Uh, lang 10
Which point is a Halsey point that also acts as sedation point?
is a lang 5.
Which point is indicated for weak, hard to read pulses?
Hmm. Lang 9.
Which point is used to revive a person in cases of asphyxia, collapse?
Lang 9. The answer is lang 9.
Which point is described as the meeting place of all the blood vessels and influences blood quality?
Uh, lang 9.
Which point is characterized as the most superficial and narrow and used to expel pathogenic factors Early.
Lung 11.
Which point's activation can restore rootedness and calm when there is oppression?
Lung 11.
Which point is a Jing-Well point that can be needled subcutaneously to a depth of 0.1 to 0.2 tsun and stimulated until distending sensation?
Is lung 11.
Which point is the source point and the tonification point on the lung meridian?
Uh, uh, lung 9.
Which point is located on the radial side of the thumb, 0.1 tsun proximal to the corner of the nail?
Is lung 11.
Which point is a wood point and that can activate the wood aspect of metal?
Is lung 11.
Which point is described as a ghost hole point that also functions as a water point?
The lung 5.
Which point's moxibustion is advised for 5 to 10 minutes with 1 to 3 moxa cones?
Lung 11.
Which point is specifically stated to descend lung qi and also regulate qi in the chest?
Is the lung 8.
Which point is an antique winter point that revives consciousness?
Lung 11.
Which point's function includes activates the channels and relaxes the sinews?
Lung 5.
Which point is a Jing-River point that is specially used for upper respiratory disharmonies?
Is the lung 8.
Which point is described as the anti-winter point that helps restore consciousness and clear heat?
Lung 11.
Which point is indicated for hemoptysis, cough, asthma, sore throat, among other respiratory issues?
Lung 10.
Which point is classified as a water point and also a healthy point on the lung meridian?
Is lung 5.
Which point's activation can help re-establish the person's awareness of their connection to their own Shen?
Lung 10.
Which point is mentioned as a ghost point that belongs to the lung meridian and is also a Jing-Well point?
Is lung 11.
The vivid metal-water
Lung 11.
relationship is crucial for balancing which two phenomena?
Heaven and earth.
Which point is described as the fifth sound of the Chinese musical scale and is associated with metal?
Is lung
Lung,
11.
huh?
11.
Metal point.
Lung 11.
Okay, lung.
Ah,
The answer is lung 11.
uh, so which supposed to describe the Chinese? Yes, lung 11.
The Hun would float
Hello.
off towards the heavens without the restraint of which concept?
Who?
Which point is
Oh,
specifically noted to descend rebellious chi and alleviate cough?
is the lung 10.
Which point is a Jing-River point that can be used for cough and hot and cold sensations?
Is the lung 8.
Which point's function includes tonifies chi and invigorates the spleen?
Is lung 9.
Which point is known as the Great Abyss and is also called Shokanten?
Ay, lung 9.
Which point is a ghost hole point that can be used to calm the mind and spirit when metal's punitive aspect prevails?
Is lung 5.
Congratulations, Sir Mark. Perfect. Wow.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ora na, last.